up on today's edition of Vikings Now by Chat Sports? We have a loaded show for you guys because Jared Allen, yes, former Vikings legend, Jared Allen chimed in on the Kirk Cousins situation from the Kay Adams show. So we'll be diving into that quote, and I'll be giving you guys my thoughts on what he had to say as well. And then also, is Kevin O'Connell a bad head coach? A lot of Vikings fans, other Vikings media are throwing it out there that Kevin O'Connell might not be too different from Mike Zimmer, and we'll dive into that here in the second half of today's show. But then also, Brian Flores, man, he's been absolutely carrying this football team. I'm going to show you guys some numbers, some analytics that really show just how big of a step this Vikings defense has made from last season to this season. But my name is Patrick Siepman, and welcome in. But before I hopped in the studio today, my bosses gave us a challenge. They said, hey, Pat, let's challenge the Vikings fans on this one. Can we pick up 15 new subscribers on today's video? Guys, you guys want to help me out, make me look good for my bosses, go down there, please. I beg of you, hit that sub button for I don't have to get a Slack or an angry email from my bosses being like, hey, we only picked up 7 subs, so help me out. Maybe we can pull it out of the water. Maybe pick up 20 or 25. But let's dive into what Jared Allen had to say on Kirk Cousins. This was coming from the Kay Adams show, and he says, you can't pay him. It's a no-brainer. You can't pay him. Sorry, Kirk. Nothing personal. Nothing personal at all. But if I am Vikings general manager, Kwesi Adofo-Mensah, what are you going to have to pay him? $25, $30 million a year to come back on a torn Achilles, and then you're tied up? Can't do it. Sorry. The ride's done. So Jared Allen had some very kind of a strong opinion on the Kirk Cousins situation, and my kind of a rebuttal to that would be, listen, Jared Allen, I loved you with the Vikings. You know, you had one of the best jerseys of all time. We're number 69. It was awesome. But I would give Kirk $30 million a year ASAP. My ideal contract, I think, would be Kirk 2 or 3 years. Go $60 or $90 million, fully guaranteed. Because look at what these quarterbacks are making nowadays. You got guys like Daniel Jones making $40+ million. I mean, you got Dak Prescott talking about resetting the market and becoming the highest paid player in the league. Like, these quarterbacks nowadays are just making a ton of money, and to the point of him talking about the torn Achilles. I get it. It is a big-time injury, but this isn't the 90s anymore. Like, modern-day medicine has allowed these guys to come back from these really, obviously these season-ending injuries, but they can come back instead of being at, 12 to 16 months. It can maybe be 9 to 12. Shoot, we already saw Aaron Rodgers yesterday. He's back at New York Jets practices not even 3 months after tearing his Achilles. So I think Kirk could be ready week 1 and could be at 110%. If you guys watch the quarterback documentary, we know this guy, Kirk Cousins. He's taking care of his body, and he's doing whatever he can to, get himself in the best position he can to put out the best performance out there on the football field. So, Jared Allen, I get what you're saying, but I probably got to disagree with you because also when we saw Kirk this year, unreal, man. He was having the best season of his career, and that's why it's so just heartbreaking that he did have to go down with that injury because, completions, he was 213 of 311, over 2,300 yards. He was 18 touchdowns to 5 interceptions, 103.8 quarterback rating. PFF had him as a top 5 quarterback when he did go down at a grade of 86.1. And I do want to remind Vikings fans about this. The grass isn't always greener. Like, I feel like that is just the always the argument with Vikings fans where it's like, oh yeah, Kirk's a good quarterback, but can he be a great quarterback? Can he get us over the hump? Well, what if we go into just quarterback hell where we turn into the Chicago Bears? And it's like we can't find our next quarterback for the next 15, 20 years. And then Justin Jefferson's sitting around saying, you guys had Kirk Cousins. You could have brought him back. Instead, you drafted this quarterback. You drafted this 21-year-old, and now that's who I'm catching balls from. I just want Vikings fans to really just appreciate what we have in Kirk, and not just jump the gun and say, he is done here, because I would love to bring him back, and it's going to come down to price. It's going to come down to how much he wants. But also, if you do bring Kirk Cousins back, you should still draft a quarterback. If the Vikings are selecting in that 18 to 25 range, which I expect them to, there are a lot of good quarterbacks out there. J.J. McCarthy could be there. Maybe Michael Penix falls, Bo Nix. I was even talking to producer Tex before we hopped on today. A guy like Quinn Ewers. I would love Quinn Ewers in the purple and gold. So there are great quarterbacks coming out this season. You still can bring back Kirk Cousins and maybe have him be kind of like the mentor to a younger quarterback. But we will get you guys involved in on today's video. Will Kirk Cousins be the starter week 1 next season? Why for yes and for no? What say you? Let me know your guys' thoughts down in the comment section. My gut telling me I think number 8 will be the quarterback for the Vikes next season. Now, let's dive into this. So I have a long little tweet that I'm going to read off for you guys, but it gets to this question, and it's kind of been blowing up amongst Vikings media and just Vikings Twitter. Is Mike Zimmer calling plays? And we know the famous Mike Zimmer kind of, play stretch or, play call is like the typical run, pass. And, obviously I know Mike Zimmer was not calling plays for the Vikings, but Kevin O'Connell has definitely fallen a victim to that trap. So, dating back to the New Orleans Saints game, Vikings were up 27-19 with 6:15 left. They go Ty Chandler run, first down. Ty Chandler run on second down. Dobbs incomplete pass, punt. They get the ball back with 3:13 left. Ty Chandler run, Ty Chandler run, Ty Chandler run. They punt it away. Then they get it back again with 1:56 left. Same game. Ty Chandler run, Josh Dobbs run, punt it away. Let's kick it to Denver now the week after. These are all in big-time moments. Second half, fourth quarter, 10 minutes left. Vikings are up 17-15 against the Broncos. They go Madison for 5, Madison for 1, Dobbs incompletion. Then they ran that fake punt to Ty Chandler. Great play call, great play design. Pick it up for 31. Then they go back to Madison for no gain. Dobbs to Madison for no gain. Then Dobbs passed to Ty Chandler for 19 yards. Still ends up being fourth down. You got a punt. Then we kick it to the Bears game with 3:27 left. Madison up the middle for no gain. Madison to the right for 1 yard. And then Dobbs to Powell for -1 yards. This is just the same MO. It is that run, pass type of just philosophy that I guess Kevin O'Connell's picked up from the Mike Zimmer days, which has been just completely frustrating. But if you do want to take the other side of things and kind of go positive route here, it is without Justin Jefferson and Kirk Cousins. But you can't get this conservative. And that's kind of my take, where it's like, I understand that side of it, where it's like you don't want to open up the playbook when you don't have your full arsenal of weapons. Like, yes, he would probably be more aggressive if he had number 8 throwing to number 18 instead of Josh Dobbs throwing to guys like Jordan Addison. But you still have Addison. You still have TJ Hawkins. Still have KJ Osborne, Brandon Powell. These guys who have really stepped up in a pretty serviceable offensive line. He's just got so conservative. And I know it's been a hot topic and people are kind of taking their sides on all this thing. But I think Kevin O'Connell, I mean, hey, if I had to grade his season so far, I'd probably give him about a B- or a B, because the Vikings have had to overcome a lot. And hey, this is a guy a couple weeks ago we were saying he should maybe be in the Coach of the Year conversation. He's had a couple bad weeks, but also the quarterback play has been pretty bad as well. So great Kevin O'Connell as a coach this season. Let me know your thoughts down below. But coming up just in a second, Brian Flores. He's completely changed the tune of this Vikings defense. I'll be explaining his impact on this Vikings season here in a second, but I do got to give a huge shout out to today's sponsor, and that is Prize Picks. If you guys go to prizepicks.com/CLNS and use code CLNS, you're going to get a first deposit match up to $100. It's daily fantasy made easy. All you got to do, you make a lineup by selecting 2 or more players and then choose more or less on their projected stat types and start seeing the cash roll in today. Makes even the boring games a lot more entertaining. This is the lineup I'm rolling with for Thursday night football. Tonight, it's the Cowboys taking on the Seahawks. I'm going less on passing yards on Geno Smith, more on CeeDee Lamb receiving yards, more on Tony Pollard rushing yards, and I'm actually got Jason Myers going more than 1.5 field goals made tonight. And if you guys want to fade my picks, or you guys can ride with my picks, make sure you guys do it at Prize Picks. PrizePicks.com/CLNS. If you guys use code CLNS, you guys are going to get a first deposit match up to $100. Make sure you guys do get involved in on the fun today. Make sure you guys do check it out. Link for that in the comment section and description of today's video. Take a look at this. I absolutely love this photo because this sums up the Brian Flores experience to a T. Starting at Harrison Smith on the left side of your screen right now, the Vikings have 9 players lined up on the line of scrimmage. Now, I want to ask you guys, how many players do you think blitzed on this play? Your gut's probably telling you 4, 5, 6, 7, maybe you brought all 9 and only kept 2 players on the back end. Only 3 players came on this play. And if this doesn't just sum up the Brian Flores MO, because anytime it's second, third and long, in obvious passing situations, he'll just put 6, 7, 8, or even in this situation, 9 guys on the line of scrimmage, and then it's the quarterback's job to kind of just figure it out and pick where they're coming from. So I love this photo just because mainly the after the math of this is the Vikings only brought 3 guys. I mean, could you imagine being Russell Wilson? You see that, and you're like, oh, I got to figure out where these guys are coming from. Turns out only 3 of them come. But this Vikings defense is totally turned around, even from the statistical side of things. Like last year, I remember showing this graphic up on screen just where the Vikings ranked throughout the season. I mean, it was 31st, 30th. Like it was all in the high 20s, low 30s. Like they were a bad defense, but hey, top 18 in points per game, top 12 in yards per game. Like even the defensive efficiencies, top 10 rushing yards per game, top 10 as well. Like this is a very, very serviceable, honestly, very good defense. And there's 4 players who I think have really stepped up this season, who I really did not expect having the years that they are. Cam Bynum, the corner safety hybrid, he's been unreal this year. He's the 5th-ranked safety according to PFF. Ivan Pace, the UDFA out of Cincinnati, he has completely taken over as the main linebacker of that group, and he wears the green dot now, which is absolutely incredible. But PFF grades him out pretty well too. But then these 2 guys, Mekhi Blackmon and Josh Metellus. Like, we talked about Josh Metellus potentially being a breakout candidate just because how versatile he is, and Brian Flores loves those versatile safeties. He's lived up to it, man. I mean, the 24th-ranked safety in the league. Then Mekhi Blackmon, for being a 3rd-round rookie out of USC, he is the 16th-ranked cornerback in the league this season. He's been absolutely great. And with all these guys playing well, the Vikings defense kind of turning the page here. Brian Flores is going to get a head coaching job, and it stinks. Like, I mean, just call it like it is. Like, it sucks. Like, Brian Flores has done such a good job. I fully expect him to be gone next season. And, obviously I'm happy for the guy. That's probably what he wants to do again. But, hey, Brian Flores, if you're watching this video, stay in Minnesota, my man. Stay with the Minnesota Vikings. You don't want that head coaching job. Stay and be a defensive coordinator with us. But, a team like the Chargers, Commanders, like one of these guys will fire their coach. Like, they're probably going to be calling Flores. I mean, even the Panthers as well. But, Flores, shout out to you. Completely changed this Vikings defense around and really has turned the season around as well. So let's show him some love, even though I do think this will probably be his last season with the Vikes. It'll probably be a one-stop shop for him. But type those skull flows down in the comment section. Show Brian Flores some love. And also you guys can give me a follow on Twitter. @Pat Sieps is the Twitter handle. Shout out to all you guys for watching today's show. Shout out to producer Tex on the 1s and 2s. See you guys next time. Thank you guys so much for watching. Skol Vikes.